This is the green stuff experiment. Stale green stuff has been the bane of my existence. This beautiful two-part epoxy that you mix together, God, it's so soft because it's so fresh. That forms a perfect green. This stuff is how miniatures get made. Miniatures like this, and this, and this, and you can also use it to steal miniature bits too. In a couple of hours, this will be the perfect orc face. For this green stuff to be so fresh, it had to be imported from America. And every time I talk about how my green stuff isn't usually fresh, the comments are filled with suggestions on how to keep it fresh longer. And well, this right here, this green stuff I got yesterday, is the freshest green stuff I've ever used. I didn't realize it was meant to be this soft, this malleable, which seems like the perfect opportunity for an experiment. This little strip is our control. You can tell it's fresh because this middle section, even though these two parts are touching, it's super malleable and soft. Over time, usually this connection gets quite hard and like it starts creeping out maybe by a couple of millimeters. Right now, the connection is like paper thin. Beautiful. But we're going to wrap it in plastic. The plastic that this green stuff comes packaged in, apparently this can make the yellow part of the green stuff go bad. The polymers or something get attached to it, make it cure. I don't know, that's what someone said to me. I don't know science. Sample 1. I'm going to leave this all the way down here. This is the spot. Sample number 2. This is wax paper. It kind of wants to stick to it a little bit, but it is coming free. 2. This is number 3. This one's going to be airtight. Number 4, going in the fridge. Number 5, in the freezer. Number 6, I had to find this pretty deep in my comments section. This is the first time I've ever heard about this. If you cut this in half, there's two pieces, two separate pieces, and you wrap them up individually, put one in one bag and one in another. The theory is that when these two pieces are stored together, even though they're not mixed, they're still off-gassing, and that off-gassing can spread to each other and cause them to set. I have no idea if that's true, but separate bags we go. I don't know how long this experiment will take. It could take months. It could take a year. I don't know. What's the shelf life? Also, here's an experiment. I always thought this was kneader night, but it's kneader tight? Am I crazy? Shelf stability, supposedly 12 months. So, oh God. I'm in for the long run, aren't I? Oh. This should be cured just enough that we can get a little orc head out. Here you go. One stolen orc head. One experiment I should test is that someone suggested that doing push molds, like that orc head, is much better with a 50-50 mix of green stuff and milliput. Milliput is another epoxy that is also very easy to buy stale. When you mix milliput with green stuff, you kind of get the best of both of their properties. It kind of becomes like a really smooth clay. It's got a little bit of elasticity, it's a little bit rubbery, so it's easy to use tools on. It's less sticky. And overall, I think a good starting place if you want to sculpt with green stuff. This is how I kind of got used to using green stuff to sculpt with. So in theory, this should be much better for our push molds. That's what the comments say. Whether that's true or not, we will be the judge. Fingers crossed, this works. At the moment, I'm kind of into push molds, and I really want to explore the potential in push molds, using them in place of kit bashing with metal models. Kit bashing plastic models is easy because they're kind of designed to go together in weird ways. But metal models, that's kind of a different story. One solid hunk of metal. How am I meant to kit bash this? I think the answer might be that you don't. I think you might just take the bits that look the most interesting, the interesting textures, the predominant features, and you take a mold so you can steal that very bit to put on something else. Hey. The really cool thing about stealing bits and using Milliput and greenstuff is you can go really thin. You can really hollow out these pieces, which is going to make kit bashing with them super easy later on. Like right now, you could turn this into a shield, or turn it into a mask, or do a face swap. It's got its perks. When I was at Adepticon, I met someone who had this box of greens. Greens are what you call green stuff models. Basically models ready to be cast, made out of green stuff. And I was in awe at the sculpting. And, well, I forgot to ask the pivotal question when they said, oh yeah, I mix plasticine in with my green stuff. I should have asked, how much? How much do you mix in? Because I've been searching for the answer online and I'm getting mixed results. And, well, I saw one that was a 5-to-1 ratio. 5 green stuff, 1 plasticine. And well, I'm doing it, and honestly, I haven't noticed any change sculpting-wise, and also the cure time is the exact same. So I must be doing something wrong. It must be a bigger ratio. You know, I'm not convinced that adding Milliput has changed much in terms of making casts from push molds. The results are similar. Any bad cast is more just my negligence, I think. I don't know if it really changes much at all. You know, doing potentially a year-long experiment to see how green stuff ages, how its shelf life performs, is kind of ridiculous. And I think for a lot of people, a total waste of time. But I'm really, really curious, because anytime that there's like a wide spread of different advice on the best way to do something, I can't help but want to test it out, find out exactly what works for me and my processes and biases and supplies. There is absolutely something that can be learned here, because like I think also I've kind of discovered that, you know, this sort of thing happens in lots of areas in our hobby. Everyone swears by a certain method, and I think a lot of that swearing by a particular method comes from just like personal preference sometimes. You know, the idea of me putting my green stuff in the freezer, while that might be technically the best, we don't know yet, it seems also kind of impractical. So, like, what's the next best thing that will work for me? If that's even a factor at the end of this, the point is that this is important for me, even if the results aren't going to come anytime soon, and I guess we'll discover it together. Okay, I need a big sleep.